Danis Jenkins, like you said, is having a good story in terms of filling in for Cade. He's a pest defensively. He's a mover on offense. He doesn't try to do too much. He passes the ball. He gets off ball. Asar Thompson for the Pistons would be a guy that I think that they would place on LaMelo. I would think he could give him fits in the backcourt. But you mentioned Jalen Duren. I think he would be the X factor, like his physicality on both ends of the floor. We talk about Detroit's physicality everywhere, but I worry about it on the perimeter, but I also worry about it with Charlotte's bigs versus their bigs. And I
Yeah.
think Duren is the forefront of that. And Charlotte needs to find a way to draw him out of the paint. And I think an underrated skill of Jalen this year is just the way that he's being able to pass on backdoor cuts. And I think that's something to monitor if this was a first round series and Musa or whoever has to defend him out on the elbow. But yeah, the Hornets would be in for a more physical test against the Pistons and try to keep them out of the paint and scoring within the restricted area. So we're not trying to underrate or
Yeah.
undervalue the Pistons. But like you said, the way that Boston is playing right now, their offense, I feel like could, you know, obviously result in some big wins here.
It'd be one thing if Tatum had come back and didn't look like this. It's like then we would be having like a different if he was just okay and struggling to fit in and their chemistry was looking a little wobbly, but it's like they look awesome, man. They just look awesome. He's played great. Jalen's continuing to be terrific. So yeah, that to me is enough to sort of like make them the greatest the greatest threat. It will be interesting if the Hornets end up in the 7-8 series. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see like in that portion of the play. It'll be interesting to see like how that goes down. Like obviously you just got to try to win it. It's not like at that point you're not going to try to like be cute, and think about matchups too much, or at least I would highly, highly doubt it. But it is fascinating to know, like, it would be fun to know, like, what the internal read is on this hypothetical too, right? Detroit versus Boston. So, but yeah, I think for me, I think I'd rather see the Pistons, but that sounds terrible too. Like that's a really good, really physical team, and it feels like the emotions of that series would be a potential swing piece too in either direction, just given what happened earlier this season when these two teams met up.
And I think a lot of the neutrals want that to happen as well. Pistons versus Hornets, just for the
They
storylines.
absolutely, you know that it is something that people are trying to wish cast into existence here. Which I mean, it would make for a juicy first round series, seeing those two teams play against one another.
Well, the Hornets, as we are recording right now, currently in the eighth spot. So they would be playing, if the season ended today in that 7-8 matchup. And it's interesting, the Hornets actually got the Celtics and the Pistons in back to back games before finishing up on Sunday against the Knicks. So I don't know if those are like playoff previews per se, because you never know like how
Yeah.
they're going to rest the starters potentially. But, they still got something to play for there.